I'm now joined by Kayla Harrison, one of the top fighters in the world today. Off the heels of some pretty big news in the PFL, Claressa Shields, a fellow Olympian, a fellow Olympic gold medalist, has signed. Does that give you a new sense of purpose in terms of the PFL next year?
Two-time Olympic champion.
So we got two-time Olympic champions now. That's a lot. That's a lot.
There's not many of us.
No, but no, you're going to be under the same umbrella. Is that like a new sense of purpose for you? I mean, that must be a pretty big shark to look at.
Listen, I'm super excited for Clarissa. She's young, she's hungry, she's a super talented young lady. I think it's a fantastic move for her business-wise, but she's brand new in the sport of MMA. You know, I was once a beginner in the sport, and she needs time to develop and get to what I would say is the level that I'm at now. So I would say that I'm the shark in the water watching the young fish grow up, not the other way around, but I'm pumped for it. I mean, I think this is great. I think this is only going to help the sport of MMA, especially women's MMA, and it's definitely damn good for the PFL.
Absolutely, and I think that it's something that is designed to keep you interested. I mean, you're going through all the names in the PFL, and I mean, now you've got something to look ahead to. If there's two sides of a bracket and she's able to work her way up, certainly a good finale for the season.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I told the PFL a long time ago to sign these girls. You know, when Cyborg became a free agent, I wanted them to sign her. She just, she got offered too much money by Bellator, and that was a style of promotion that she was used to. PFL is a little bit different in the sense that we have a tournament, a season, and things like that. But for Clarissa, I think it's great. She comes again from an Olympic style background, so she knows that if you want money, you have to win. And that's why I really liked the PFL, and I think that's probably another reason she liked it as well. And we're completely equal. We get paid as much as the men. So no, I'm pumped that there's another big name added to the roster. I think it's great. And I'm excited to see her develop it and see where it goes.
Now, she's not fully committed to MMA. She also wants to stay in boxing and be a two-sport champion at the same time, and she has really big aspirations in that sense. Is that possible? I mean, are you able to split your focus when you're in mixed martial arts because there are so many tools, so much catching up she has to do?
I think that's going to be tough. I think it'll be tough to it's going to be really hard to be dominant in both, especially if I have anything to say about it. But I think she's going to have to pick her poison eventually. And I think, I know Clarissa. I like her. I'm a fan of hers. I think once she gets a taste of MMA and once she sees how much there is to do and how much she has to learn and just how like crazy big this sport is, I think she's going to devote herself full time to that. I think she's going to realize just also the amount of opportunities that she's going to have are going to be so much bigger in MMA. She's conquered the boxing world, and she's done so flawlessly. So I feel like she has nothing left to prove in the boxing world. But I think she'll get there for herself eventually.
Well, what I'm wondering with boxing is if she just stuck to strictly MMA training and they put her in a boxing match, she would still, I mean, it's not like riding a bike, of course, but she has enough training and enough superiority in the sport that she could probably compete in both regardless.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I think that I haven't put on a gi in probably 3 years, but if you put me in a gi and said, Kayla, go, let's go have a judo match, I think that I'd like to think that I've still got it.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to say, how high of a level of judo could you compete in just from just sheer knowledge and your background?
Well, listen, there's one tournament that I never won, the Paris Grand Slam, and it comes around every February. And every February, I consider just showing up and trying to enter the tournament. But the International Judo Federation, unfortunately, doesn't allow that. But if they did, I would probably show up and just be like, you know what? I need to win this one.
If they just gave you a free pass, they're like, okay, Kayla, we're gonna give you a get out of jail free card.
I would show up. I would throw down, literally throw down.
Why do you think that there haven't been as many women in the heavier divisions in MMA that have been developed? It seems like there's only been, I guess, atomweight, and above up until about featherweight, and then at 155, it's kind of a new ballgame.
Yeah, I think because there just hasn't been a lot of opportunity. I think, first of all, you have to remember women's MMA is so young of a sport. It's still just developing. It's in the early years. It's in the embryo stage in terms of how long it's been around compared to men. Of course, there were a lot of underground and lower level promotions and things, but it wasn't that long ago that, you know, the UFC, Bellator, you know, big promotions said, you know, women aren't going to fight. It's pretty new. And I think it's growing exponentially. I think that it's exploded all across the world. And it's only a matter of time before these bigger divisions start to develop. You know, the reality is women come in all different shapes and sizes, just like men. You know, I think the average female weight is like 155 pounds, actually. Like, I don't know what, like, 1950s, like, utopia world most people think we live in, but most women do not weigh like 120 pounds. Okay. And I think you just have to build it and they will come. You know, it takes time to develop these things. It takes people with strong backbones and strong shoulders who are willing to have it built on them. And I'm just so proud to be a small part of that. I'm proud to have helped start a 155-pound division. I'm proud that Clarissa, who has said openly that she can't make 145, has a place to come to. I mean, she's a fantastic athlete, and now she's going to have an opportunity to compete because I said, hey, I don't want to fight 145 pounds. I don't think it's healthy. I don't want to do it. And the PFL said, okay, we believe you. We trust in you. Let's do this. And I mean, that's like, I don't know. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be. Basically, a division was created because of you, which is it's a pretty big deal. So since you, yeah, there you go, a little Barry Horowitz pat on the back. Since you were, 10 plus years ago, it's been wake up, train, rest, train, go to sleep, repeat. You're now, I've heard in some interviews that you've done recently, a guardian of 2 children. So
I am.
how has that kind of changed in terms of giving you a sense of purpose? You know, a lot of athletes, they wonder what life's going to be like after they're done competing. You kind of have a new focus that's been added to your life.
I do. I certainly do. I recently became the guardian of my niece and nephew. Unexpected, but a huge blessing in my life. And my nephew is 2, and my niece is 7. And the terrible twos are a real thing. I just want everyone to know, for all of you non-parents out there, the terrible twos, they exist. They're real. They're terrifying. So I'll pray for anyone who has a 2-year-old, just like I pray for myself every night. But it has been really humbling. And it's given me a newfound appreciation for parents. You know, I thought that being an Olympic champion or being a fighter and stepping in a cage was hard. I thought that, what I did was so special and this great thing, but it really holds no candle to what it is to be a parent or to be a guardian and to be in charge of a young child's life and to make sure that they become well-rounded, happy, healthy, loved, safe individuals. That is just such a huge responsibility and one that I don't take lightly and one that has really changed my life for the better. I think that obviously fighting is fun. I love it. Being the best in the world at what you do is fun. It's like there's no greater high in the world than that. But caring for them has really made my life so much more whole. And my life was pretty empty before, and now it's not. Now it's full. My house is messy. I'm always tired. I'm always hungry. I'm always stressed. But it's like the best. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's the best stress I could ever ask for. It's great.
Well, as the father of a beautiful 2-year-old girl, I appreciate your prayers and thoughts that for people like myself. Oh, I know. I've got 3 of them.
It's crazy. I can't believe it. He's so sweet and innocent sometimes, and then it's just like something snaps, and I'm like, what is this tantrum about? I wish you could tell me.
Now, I wonder, because you've been such a devoted athlete, what's the most time you've taken off in like the last 10 years? Like the most time you've taken away from training?
Well, I took time off after the 2012 Olympics, and I took some time off after the 2016 Olympics. And then I started training MMA shortly after the 2016 Olympics, and I didn't really stop. I probably started in early 2017 training MMA. And then by 2018, I had my professional debut. And since then, I've really only taken like I think the most I took off was 20 days or something like that. But even before that, I mean, when I moved to Boston, I was 16. I didn't take, I think after the London Olympics, I took the most time off. And that was because I was 22. I had just won America's first Olympic gold medal. I had never had a drink. um, and I had a lot of fun from August of 2012 until like December of 2012. And then I got back to work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know what to do with downtime? Like you're so wired for perfection, really, that
Mm,
it's hard to figure out what to do.
I do not thrive. That COVID has been was a hard year for me before the kids because it's like I struggle without what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Structure.
routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, structure. Yes, thank you. Structure. I need structure in my life or uh I go off the tracks pretty easily. I'll find myself like 7 episodes deep of some random show and it's like 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm like, what have I been doing? There's like bonbons on the bed, just like wrappers all over the place. Like it's not a pretty look. So I need structure. Now I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock every night. The kids are up at 6 a.m. at the crack of dawn. We're from 6 a.m. until 9 o'clock. We're going. I'm training. They're going to school. I'm going to training. They're going to tutoring. We got gymnastics. We got mommy and me gymnastics. We got all kinds of stuff going on. So it's good. I like structure. Kids like structure too. So it's been good.
I'm happy to hear that. I mean, I know that I've watched interviews with you. I did a bit of a Kayla Harrison deep dive before we spoke, and I know that you've mentioned that judo saved your life. Like you had really rough teenage years, and if not for Jimmy Pedro and having that kind of structure in judo, you don't know what would have happened.
Mm,
Tell me a little bit more about how judo and how having this kind of structure and routine has helped you just in life and in thriving as in, in becoming an adult and becoming an athlete.
absolutely. Well, I definitely went through a lot of hardship as a young teen. I was sexually abused by my first coach. And there was definitely a point in my life where I didn't want to live anymore. I wasn't happy. I was hopeless. Um, and really judo and the Pedros did save my life and they changed my life. Not only judo changed my life because of the Pedros. It could have been knitting or swimming or whatever. Um, but having a goal, having something to wake up for every day, but more important than that, having people around me who believed in me before I believed in myself, um, it changed the trajectory of my life. It changed who I became as a person. I very easily could have become just another statistic, um, but I didn't. And it's because of the people that were around me. And that's why I truly, um, I just know that there's not ever going to be any hurdle too big, any setback too far, any wall that I can't run through because I know I've been through the toughest things in life and I've overcome them and I'm still to this day, the Pedros are always going to be in my corner and the people that truly believe in me are always going to surround me. And learning that from a young age and having that instilled in me, that discipline and I may not always be motivated, but I can always be disciplined and waking up every day and not hitting the snooze button and all of that is instilled in me. Like I literally just don't know how else to be. This is literally who I am. And it's made me successful, not just in my career, but it's made me successful and happy in my life.
Is it just about changing, focusing on where you're putting your energy and having somewhere to put your energy so that you're, not alone with your thoughts all the time and you have
Yeah.
focuses, you have goals?
Yeah. I think it's super important for everyone. I think mental health in everyone can be greatly affected by that. One of the things that I still do to this day that I've done since I was a kid is write my goals down. I write down what I want to achieve. I write down, the 3 key areas that I need to focus on in order to achieve that goal. And then I put it somewhere I can see it every day. And then I take the steps necessary in order to achieve it. It's not just, it's the structure, but it's also following through with it. Like, it's very easy to say, all right, I'm going to make a plan. And then, well, today, like, I'm a little sore today. Maybe I won't do that. Or, I'm a little tired today. Or, Kyla doesn't really need to go to gymnastics. It's kind of like it's an extracurricular. She doesn't need to do it. I'm tired. I don't feel like taking her. it's not only having a game plan and having a goal or having something to strive for, but also executing that game plan. And when you hold yourself accountable, you'll start to see great results.
And that's one thing I really admire about you from, again, watching different videos of you talking about visualization and talking about how at night you're like, I'm picturing myself beating this person and beating this person and this is how I'm going to do it and all of that. But then not only having that in your mind, because in your mind you're winning, you still go and put in the work the next day, right? Like you still have to go
Oh,
and improve yourself. And that's the part that I really admire, because you're able to build the mental confidence, but in order to, also put that mental confidence aside and be like, okay, well, I need to do this and this and this to get here. I really admire that.
That I could just visualize and it happened. I wish that was how it works. That would be fantastic for my body, for my headaches. I think that if I could just visualize it into happening, that would be fantastic. But realistically, I train my mind the same way I train my body, and I don't skip reps of mentally visualizing it, and I don't skip days at the gym. And I think when you put those two together and you find a true, I have a confidence in myself because number one, I know I've done the work. I know no one works harder than me. Number two, I visualize it. I rep that in my head every night, that I'm the best, that I can do this, that, there's no one that can stop me. And I just, like, when you put those two things together, you have sort of an inner confidence and an inner peace that really can't be touched.
So you're thinking about your opponents. Who's the opponent you think about the most? Like, if you were to name one person that you visualized yourself beating the most often, who is it?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I don't really put a face to the opponent at night until I have a name. Like if I don't have a fight booked, then I just visualize myself, holding up a belt or my hand being raised, or I visualize going through the warm-ups. I visualize, the things that I've been working on in practice that I want to execute in a fight, such as, I want to friggin' land a straight punch I want to knock somebody out. I want to knock somebody down. Or like my last fight, I visualized a lot elbows, because I had never thrown an elbow in a fight and I really wanted to inflict some damage with an elbow. So I visualized that a lot, and I didn't necessarily have a face that the elbow was landing on, but I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. So I don't have one particular person. I know this is what you reporters all want to do. Like, oh, Kayla Harrison, nothing. But there's not one particular person. My biggest competition is myself. And as long as I continue to improve every single day, then I know I'm going to get where I want to be.
Well, I'm glad you weren't picturing your previous opponent, because you would have been picturing someone smiling maniacally, and that's very difficult to want to attack. She kind of freaked me out. Like she had this calm about her that I'm like, you're going in to face Kayla Harrison right now, and you're smiling like you're about to be going to your own birthday party. That kind of worried me.
I'm glad that you noticed that, because it freaked me out too. She was way too calm about the whole thing, and then she walked out to the Lion King, and I was like, I was having a hard time staying focused. I was picturing my niece and nephew and I watching The Lion King, and it was like throwing me off a little bit. And then I was like, come on, Kayla, like, let's go, get your head in it.
It freaked me out. I mean, they made you come out first because you're the visiting team. You're coming from the PFL. And then she's coming out and she's smiling.
Walked out first before either, by the way. So that was new. I was like, oh, I'm walking out first. This is what this feels like. Now I have to wait for her. And then she walks out to the Lion King smiling. And I was like, is this girl crazy? Like, what's going on here?
And you were able to pull it together, and you got to throw that elbow that you had been visualizing, and unfortunately it painted the cage red.
That's right.
Well, your goal is to be the greatest of all time one day. Are you able to accomplish that goal without ever joining the UFC at some point in time?
Well, I don't know. With PFL signing people like Clarissa, I think that's a great start. Obviously, I have to go where the best competition is. I know that if I want to be the best, I have to beat the best. I have a year left on my PFL contract. I'm going to fulfill those duties, win another $1 million, and we'll see where it takes me after that. But, make no mistake, I don't do this for money. I mean, I do a little bit now because I got 2 kids, and those little suckers are expensive. But I do this because I want to be the best in the world, and that's it. And I do it because I love it. And that inner drive is something that can't be stopped. So we'll see what happens. one fight at a time.
What did you do with the first million? How did you invest a lot of it? I'm guessing you didn't go to Sawgrass and spend it all or anything along those lines. But did you invest it for the most part?
I did, yeah. No, I definitely. I have financial advisors. I've had them since I won my first judo bonus at like 22 when I won the Olympics. I got 25 grand. So I've had them from day one, and I'm definitely a saver, not a spender. So I invested most of it. I think I took my mom on a little vacation. I can't remember what we did. What did we do? I think I just flew her down to Florida for a week or two, and we went to the Keys. But I didn't do anything too exciting, unfortunately.
All right, and finally,
No.
like I mentioned, I did a bit of a deep dive, and I saw this weird prank show where this guy in a wig was trying to grapple with you at a party. Were you in on this? Like, give me the lowdown on what happened there.
There's this TV show called Impractical Jokers, and it's very, very popular in like ages 18 to 45-year-old men, I guess. I'm more well known for Impractical Jokers, I think, than anything else in my entire career. So after the first Olympics, I think they reached out to my assistant, and they asked me if I would be a punishment on their show, which is like a prank show. And I had never seen it, had never heard of it, but my assistant was like, "Oh my God, you have to do this. My boys love it. Please." So I was like, "All right, fine." So I went to some party in the Hamptons, and the guy who was in the wig, Murray, didn't know like what was going to happen, and none of the guests at the party knew. Only the other jokers knew what was going to happen, and basically I had an earpiece in, and they just kind of told me what they wanted me to do. So I just beat the crap. Like they just said like, "Oh, rough him up a bit," and then I roughed him up a bit. But none of it was scripted. None of it was planned. He had no idea. Like I just kind of beat the crap out of this guy for a day in front of a bunch of strangers.
Yeah, you threw him through a table, and there were these kind of posh people that were looking around and being like.
Yeah.
But the thing that was weird about it to me was that I wasn't sure if you were invited to the party, but you were standing by yourself. It seemed like all the time. So I was
No,
like, so
I
you didn't know anybody
anybody.
there.
No, I didn't know anybody else at the party. It was so awkward. Like everyone was kind of like, "Who's that girl?" And I was just like hanging out, drinking a little drink, like
Well, it was very
trying
weird
not
to
to
watch. I'll
look
just
too
say, as
weird.
somebody who didn't know the show, I was curious what was going through your mind with this guy. I didn't think you were in on it when I was watching it. I thought that they had just had some guy harassing you.
No, I was in on it. He wasn't like he didn't know. They told him when he got to the party. I was a punishment, so he lost like a bet or something. And when he got to the party, he found out that I was an Olympic champion and et cetera, et cetera. So he he was told like your punishment is you have to fight her. Um, but none of it was scripted. I was really nervous actually. Like I was like, he's not gonna sue me if I like hurt him or anything, right? Like this is like he's cool with it, right? But it actually ended up being really, really fun. I had a blast. The guys were super nice guys. It was a really cool experience.
All right, Kayla. Well, this has been a cool experience for me. It's a pleasure to meet you, and best of luck on all your success. And this year, are you done for the year? Or I heard there's might be an opening in Titan FC. What's going on with that?
I hope I'm not done for the year, but it's not looking good. I really wanted to fight twice this year. I wanted to just continue to get experience and get better. But I'm struggling to find an opponent, so it looks like I may have to wait until next year. But we'll see.
Well, the good news is that next year is like 32 days away, so we'll.
I know. Yeah, I'm making such a big fuss about it, but in all reality, I may just have to wait until January to fight. But I'll be fighting again before the PFL season starts. So
Do you know where is Titan the likely landing spot, or is Invicta planning another event?
I in Victa. I mean, it really pretty much anyone who will have me. I'm kind of like this. I'm just like, pick me, pick me. I really just want to fight. So PFL has been gracious enough to allow me to step outside the contract and fight twice before the season starts. And so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I'm sure they'd love to have you. I just think that a lot of the opponents' contracts are getting lost in the mail for whatever reason. That's probably what the biggest impediment is. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for doing this, and hope to speak with you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.